Welcome back, Egyptology lovers. Today we are doing plate 34. If you like my page, please like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram as well. I'm very popular there. I have Tumblr, Facebook, and TikTok as well. So let's begin describing a little bit of this beautifully well-drawn papyrus here of this plate 35. So what we have in this vignette is accompanying text of the left of plate of 34, right over here. So this is coming from 34. Portraying Ani and Tutu offering bouquets resembles several other scenes found in the hymns of this papyrus. Chapter 110 is one of the most popular of the chapters of the Book of the Dead, and is also found in many contemporary tombs of the New Kingdom. The texts and the vignette have a long history with precursors dating back to the coffin texts. The arrangement in which the figures stand in the baseline of the text flows around the scene occurs with other hymns of this document. From this point on, Ani presumably passed safely into the beyond. For the vignettes and their accompanying text become distinctively more benign and less hostile in nature. As the rubric to this spell indicates, Ani is now about to enter the field of hotep. The word hotep is most likely a deliberate play on words, since it both means peace and offering simultaneously, as well as being the name of the god personifying offerings. Now, it's unclear whether at the time when Ani's papyrus was written, the field of hotep was thought to be separate from the field of reeds. In either case, the Egyptian word sechet, field, might be better translated as marshland or wetland. Both fields were brought to lie in the next world in the regions near the horizon, a transition point where one entered the celestial sphere. The two fields represent the type of paradise formed in the immense expanses of the peaceful reed marshes or farmland. In these fields, the deceased would have to travel about and perform some of the required labors associated with the afterworld. The accompanying text seems to treat Ani as if he were one of the blessed dead, at the point, for he claims to assist and protect the other deities. Alright, so we have Tutu and Ani here, same size, making offering to the gods. And here are the four scenes that are divided into four sections. As with most of the really complicated illustrations of the Book of the Dead, there are approximately as many versions of this scene as on the right side of this plate as there are papyri in the tomb walls where it has been found. Generally speaking, there is not much relationship between the elements of the vignettes and the text of chapter 110. Nearly all representations of the scenes agree that this part of the afterworld is vast in size and surrounded by water, as you can see here, completely surrounded by water. In the midst of every watery expanse, Ani's papyrus shows a field of hotep divided into four unnamed islands, each of which constitutes one pictorial register. It is hard to tell whether there is any chronological scheme implied in this complex representation, so you can see four registers right over here. The top island depicts Ani bowing differentially in such a manner that his forelock dangles down, almost touching his outstretched palms. Behind him stands Thoth, who is writing something on the back of his palette with a reed brush. Sorry, right over here, the palms. The significance of these two figures is hard to understand, especially since the god is not mentioned in either the vignette or on the text on the left side of the plate. Immediately to the right of these figures is Ani appears again, respectfully offering to three sitting gods with animal heads. Offering here to the Aeneid, the word Aeneid, and the three gods. The first is a rabbit-headed, the second snake-headed, and the third a cow-headed. The caption identifies them as the two Aeneids. So the two, number two, Aeneid, that's the symbol. That's one symbol of many. And two Aeneids would have been a way of saying very, very many gods. In the middle of the island, Ani is shown paddling himself in a boat, which looks like a divine bark of the sort which Ray uses to convey himself across the firmament, across the waters of the sky. Right over there. And he has an offering table right there. In front of him is a small pile of offering. Following this scene, we encounter Ani in the posture of evoking, his arm directed towards the falcon god, perched on top of a shrine. So here's pointing out to a god who is on a plinth on top of a shrine. Facing this falcon deity is a mummiform figure standing before a lotus placed on the offering table. The three ovals behind this group are given obscure names in many other papyri, but not in this case. So right over here, offering table, and then you have the three of them over here. The text behind the mummiform figure may serve as a summarizing description for all the scenes on this island. Here it says, being in the field of offering when breathing at the nose. The sense of this phrase seems to be that Ani has been admitted into the company of the gods and lives and breathes in the world beyond. The second island shows Ani engaged in agricultural activity, right over here, the entire scene. Although Ani works here in the beyond, the Book of the Dead makes it clear that this is a temporary activity. Before he moves on to his most glorious stage of existence in the celestial sphere, he is shown both harvesting flax, right over here, and threshing grain by driving cattle over the grain, right over here. In the scene immediately after the threshing, Ani is shown in a posture of prayer and adoration before the heron on a standard, which is actually the Egyptian hieroglyph for abundance, right over here. Like any paradise, the field of offering is richly abundant region. In the final scene of the island, Ani is shown kneeling with a wand-like scepter in his hand, right over here. The scepter is more of an insignia of office and power. It can be the Egyptian word for making an offering as well. The mounds and ovals in front of him have a caption above them in which says, you can see over here, the food of Ahu. The scene may thus show Ani offering his rich harvest to the blessed spirits he is about to join. The third island shows Ani plowing in a field, which the inscription informs us is vast. The connection between this and the harvest which Ani is presenting in the scene above is uncertain, but perhaps some of his offerings has derived from his labors of this island. The agricultural scenes in chapter 110 are sometimes connected with the labor which one wishes to avoid by having Shapti perform them. The labors described in chapter 6, however, seem very much harsher. Furthermore, it seems improbable that the Book of the Dead would allow or show anything untoward happening to the papyrus owner. So I don't think Ani would want something bad to be shown here so he doesn't have to do it. It is hard to explain the various waterway texts and boats shown on the fourth island at the bottom. One caption states that these are the places associated with the Ahu. The bottom one, the final one down here. The Blessed Dead. The snake-headed boat appears to be connected with Osiris here. Right over here. You can see the snake head. Whereas the text at Deir el-Medine state that this is the boat of 𝑓. So that's a perfect example right over there. Now, I'm not going to read the text at this moment. I'm going to read this text when we do the reading of the hieroglyphs over here. So I'll reserve this section here and this for after when we do the reading. So stay tuned for that. All right, now we're going to start reading the text here, starting on the very top, starting from the right to left, which is the correct rubric writing way instead of the retrograde. So here it says, here begins the chapters of the field of reeds, the chapters of going out in the day, of coming in and going out in the God's domain, and being provided for in the field of reeds, which is in, continuing up here, in of the field of offerings, and which are in offerings of the great place or the great abode. Here continues, mistress of the winds, I have strength thereby, and I having power thereby, for my ploughing therein, and I reaping thereby, and I eating thereby, and I drinking therein, and in doing all things done there upon the earth, word spoken by the Osiris Ani, continues here, Ani again, vindicated. It is said, of you, the falcon has been taken by Set. I have seen the damage in the field of offerings. I have diverted the winds of the soul in his day, which is in the egg of taking him within the body of Horus. I am one who thought of him and the limbs of 𝓄. Now this is 𝑒w, we don't pronounce this. And his positional stars. I am he who rests in his fields, and he who control the jars of the Aeneid, and its elders continues up here, elders with the 3 plural dots. He who pacified the 2 combatants of relating to the living, and you who create what is good, and who bring offering, and he who pacified the 2 combatants in relating to you. He drives away those who mourn, or the mourning, from their warriors. He removes the turmoil from the young. He wipes away harm from the souls. I have power over them. I am one who knows of it. I row in its waterways. Continues here, waterways. I arrive at its towns. My utterance is mighty, mighty. I am sharp as the spirits, and they shall not have power over me, provided therein your fields of offering, your beloved who has done you this. So this completes this section. Now we're going to move over to here. I've already done this early on in the video. We'll do it a little bit again so you know what it is. So let's do that. So over here it says the 2 Aeneids. So the Aeneid is a particular word, but this is just a small part of it, the 2 Aeneids. And then we're going to go over here. This over here, starting from the right, says, being in the field of offering, breathing at the nose. So this is showing that Ani is in his field of offering, and he has breath, he has life, he is basically in the afterlife. All right, so the second island over here, we have the Osiris harvesting. So the Osiris is Ani. He is giving himself the name of Osiris in order to be able to be reborn. Over here you have another caption that says, the blessed dead. Over here you have the word for plowing, as he is plowing. Above him here you have the word field of reeds, or field of offerings. And then over here, we're going to start from this section here, and it says, speech of the white hippopotamus. It is a river in its length. Its breadth cannot be said. So it's meaning that the river is vast. Continuing down here, there are none of any fish within it, and there is no of any serpents within it. So that completes that section. Now we're going to go down over here. We'll start over here on this section there. All right, over here it says, the place of the blessed dead. Its length, or your length, is 7 cubits. The emer is 3 cubits. So you have the 3 here, 3 cubits. By the effective nobleman, which continues here, nobleman, who harvests them. The effective nobleman meaning Ani. Down here you have the sujebe, the actual step ladder, or the steps. Over here now, this section there, it says, the god who is in 𝓿𝑈𝓼𝓼. 𝓿𝑈𝓼𝓼 is another name for Osiris, or a title. It means the beautiful one. And over here it says, who holds back the Nile. the river Nile. And over here it says the sacred shore or the holy shore. And finally over here you have the word abundance. This is a full word for abundance. The same symbol right here is abundance. And this is also abundance. So this is basically saying that Ani is going to be receiving an abundance of everything in the afterlife. So that is the complete translation of the text. Thank you very much for enjoying this, one of the more beautiful plates, and showing what the afterlife may look like for someone who has died. Please stay tuned for plate 35. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram, Tumblr, TikTok, as well as Facebook. Thank you very much, and till next time.